I've been doing a lot of business laptops as of late, but let's switch gears. Let's get into some gaming laptops, and HP sent over a good one in their Omen line. Yes, it's the HP Omen 16. This came out in 2022. They sent it to me late 2022. I finally got around to it, and I'm glad I did. This is an excellent gaming laptop here as we start 2023. It's got a Core i9-12900H. It's got an RTX 3070 Ti, so it's going to cover all your gaming needs. Throw in a nice QHD display with a really nice refresh rate of 165 Hertz, 3 millisecond response time, switchable graphics, and more. We're gonna get into whether or not I think the HP Omen 16 is the best gaming laptop out there right now. We're gonna find out today. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is my review of the HP Omen 16. Coming up. Now, for those new here, I just want to let you know that I'm not being paid by HP. I'm not being sponsored by HP. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own. HP is not getting copy approval. That means they're seeing this video for the first time, just like you. Now, this unit is on loan from HP, and once this review is done, I'll be sending it back. Now, when it comes to pricing, as you know, HP does fluctuate the prices, so you want to make sure you hit the link below for that latest pricing. I've seen it as low as $969.99. Price as configured here today, $2689.99. Again, those prices do fluctuate, so make sure you hit the link in the description below for that latest pricing. Okay, people, HP sent over the latest Omen 16, a 16-inch gaming laptop. Pretty excited about this one. This packs a Core i9-12900H. It has 2 terabytes of SSD storage. It has 32 gigabytes of RAM. It has an RTX 3070 Ti for discrete graphics, so it should be good for all your gaming needs and maybe video editing and any kind of powerful needs you might have. This will certainly cover that. So without further ado, let's find out what you get inside the box. Okay, so typical Omen packaging here so far. Let's get this tape off of here. Okay. We get some Omen branding right away. Let's see what kind of power charger this comes with. But before we do that, it looks like we get a hub in the box, which is going to give you some extra ports. Let's open this up real quick. And yeah, we've seen this one before. So this little hub gives you HDMI, 2 USB-A ports, and a USB-C port, okay? And then of course it connects via Type-C. So this adapter will be necessary because I'm not sure what kind of ports it has on it yet. And then let's see the power charger. So this is gonna be pretty hefty. Yeah, 280 watts. It uses a barrel pin connection, no surprise there. A little bit heft on the power charger. Of course, it has to power this beast. And we get the unit itself, and feeling it already, a little bit of heft on it. But before we get to that, let's see, we get some warranty information and some important product information as well. Pretty standard fare, and I think that's about it. And then, of course, we get this. This is the Omen 16. Wow, nice all black finish on it. It has Omen branding, very subtle, very classy looking. It's a mirrored symbol there, or mirrored logo. And this is all metal. This part's metal. I believe the bottom is metal also. So pretty nice, sturdy design. You can see there's some grilling on the bottom there for ventilation, which is good. Okay, folks, let's check out the port selection. On the left side is a USB-A port, an RJ45 Ethernet port, some ventilation for the cooling, a 3.5 millimeter microphone headphone combo jack, and a full-size SD card reader. And for those wondering, yes, the cards sit flush with the unit. Nice. And moving over to the right side is another heating vent and 2 more USB Type-A ports. And moving on to the back, you get 2 USB Type-C Thunderbolt 4 ports that are full function, supporting data, charge, and display out, an HDMI 2.1 port, and finally your power port to round out the ports on this laptop. I would say all in all, an excellent port selection. And let's not forget, they also include that hub in the box to give you some extra ports as well. All right, let's open this up. Let's see if we can open it with one finger. We can. Okay, let's remove this. And that is a beautiful looking keyboard deck here. And I got to tell you, the key travel feels good. The tactility is really good. You've got some function buttons here or some very nice handy keys here, Omen key there. You got your arrows up and down, and of course, a really spacious touchpad. I'm already collecting fingerprints. Some 16 branding here from the Omen line. This is the 165 hertz display, so it's going to have a nice high refresh rate. We'll get into the display in a moment. 16 inches, of course, but I'm really liking this. You get some venting there. Now, when it comes to the keyboard, I found the tactility was very good. The key travel was very good and very comfortable to type on. Really had a nice, comfortable experience when it comes to typing on this. Now, it does have the RGB backlighting, and you can opt for the more expensive per key RGB backlighting for an additional $80. But if you're into the backlighting with the RGBs, you have the option here, of course. And that does have the nice precision touchpad here. I thought it was spacious, very responsive when it comes to scrolling and when it comes to gestures. Overall, pretty good in terms of the touchpad. And of course, the display goes back as far as you see there. Okay, let's see if we can get this open here to see what's upgradable as far as user upgradability. And it looks like it has some Phillips head screws. Let's get these off here. I'm using my iFixit kit. And let's see if these will come off. So far, so good when you're taking them off. Okay, let me get this little pry tool in case we need it here. Let me see how I'm going to get this off. Oh, these are not captive screws, as you can see. They are coming out fast and furious. Let me put these to the side. Just be gentle. You don't want to break anything, but you want to give it a little bit of oomph to get it off. And there we go. So 2 SODIMM slots for your RAM. There's one SSD slot there. There's one there. And of course, the Wi-Fi card, Bluetooth combo card slotted in. That is upgradable. So a lot of upgradability here. And we got this nice 83 watt hour battery. And there are 2 fans for cooling. So the blades are modified this year to give better cooling, supposedly. And pretty nice stuff so far. So 2 SSDs, 2 RAM slots, like we see here, that are user upgradable. Now, the RAM itself is 32 gigabytes here on this review unit. It's DDR5 4800 RAM, and there are 2 16 gigabyte RAM sticks in those SODIMM slots, so nice to see upgradability there. I can imagine putting 232 in there for a total of 64. That would be great. Hopefully that will work. And my SSD has a 2 terabyte SSD. It's NVMe PCIe Gen 4. And of course, you could put in another SSD. There's an open slot on the left there. That, of course, can bring it up to a total of 4 terabytes if you wanted to, maybe even more. So really good in terms of the upgradability of the RAM and the storage. The Wi-Fi card is Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3, and it is upgradable by the user because it is slotted in. So as far as user upgradability is concerned, very good here. Now that Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth both have been working flawlessly. No issues since I've received this unit. Okay, let's talk about the display. And HP sent over the one with the QHD resolution. That, of course, would be 2560 by 1440. This is a 16.1-inch IPS display with 182 pixels per inch for those keeping score. It's an IPS display. It is glossy, and it has 165 hertz refresh rate with a 3 millisecond response time. Now, HP claims that this will get as bright as 300 nits. I actually measured above that. I measured 321 nits. It is a glossy display, so depending on your lighting conditions, you will notice some glare and reflections in direct sunlight and the like, so just keep that in mind. But indoors, it's perfectly fine. It's actually an excellent display in terms of the brightness. Now, as far as the black level, 0.31, that is excellent. Good white point, good contrast of 1,000 to 1, and it has a 2.23 Delta E score. I'd like to see that below 2. Although 2.23 is not bad, I'd like to see it a little bit more color accurate. Now, as far as the coverage of the color gamut, 100% sRGB, 75% Adobe RGB, 75% of the DCI P3 wide color gamut, and 70% NTSC. So this is a pretty decent choice when it comes to doing things such as color grading, Lightroom, Photoshop, video editing, and the like. So pretty good in that regard. And I didn't detect any PWM or pulse width modulation. That screen flickering that some people are sensitive to, none was detected on this panel. And having that 165 hertz refresh rate means you're going to get that really smooth scrolling, the really smooth and fluid gameplay that you'd want to have on a gaming laptop. This doesn't disappoint. And having a 3 millisecond response time, actually pretty good when it comes to gaming on this panel. So this is the camera on the brand new HP Omen 16, a 16-inch gaming laptop here for 2022. Pretty powerful specs. This, of course, is a 720p webcam, not 1080p like we've been seeing here in 2022. What do you think about the video quality? What do you think about the audio quality? Now, I'm not going to ding them too much on this laptop for having a 720p camera, where this is a gaming laptop first and foremost. But again, we're 2022 here, people working from home, they're doing hybrid work. And when they are not gaming, they have to get work done. It would be nice to have a 1080p camera on this. But again, I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. A couple of things to note. It's not an IR camera, no face recognition for Windows Hello login, and there's no fingerprint scanner on this laptop. Again, gaming laptop, so I'm not going to really ding them too hard for that. But I just would like to have a little bit more options here. But again, I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. Okay, let's talk about the performance, and this has the Intel Core i9-12900H, a 45-watt CPU, 12th gen Alder Lake processor from Intel, and of course, you're seeing really excellent results in both single-core and multi-core performance. PC Mark 10 score is good, the Geekbench was excellent, the Cinebench tests were excellent, especially the R23, and the Time Spy and the Firestrike all did very well, and especially when it comes to graphics work, the 3070 Ti from NVIDIA is a really good one in terms of getting good results. Now, not only is this a gaming laptop, but it's a good general purpose laptop, allowing you to get work done, doing things such as Microsoft Office, email, web browsing. It all worked well. Video editing in Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve. It really has a nice GPU here, a good CPU in terms of power, so you can get some nice 4K video editing done on this, and has been no issues in terms of that. That's been pretty good. And of course, this is a gaming laptop first and foremost, and what good would it be if you didn't get some really good playable frame rates on some of the more popular titles? A good example would be Cyberpunk 2077. If you run it on the low 1080p settings, you're looking at 131 frames per second. You go to the high settings, a very respectable 94 frames per second. And again, depending on the title, will depend on what kind of frame rate you'll get. But the overall takeaway is this is an excellent GPU and CPU combination when it comes to gaming. They did a really good job. And yes, it does have a mux switch, which allows switching between the integrated and dedicated graphics on this unit. And you can control the thermal profiles in the HP Omen app. A lot of versatility, a lot of controls at the user's fingertips. Gives you the temperature, it gives you the performance numbers. So pretty good in that regard. And when I was running this under heavy load, when we were doing some pretty intensive gaming, it remained relatively cool and never getting overly hot in terms of the surface temperatures, as you see here. A couple of hot spots here and there, which is to be expected, but nothing overly hot, nothing too hot to the touch. Now, when you're on the ultra performance mode, when you're gaming, it will get about 53, 54 decibels in terms of the fan noise, but it would go down to about 48 to 50 when it's not so intensive. But you definitely will notice these fans when they kick in under heavy load. They did modify the blades on this time around for hopefully a more cooler, quieter performance, but you will notice it in those performance modes. In the other modes, you're fine. It's just when you're doing the intensive gaming, you will notice the fan noise. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this has an 83 watt-hour battery, and because this has graphics switching on this between the integrated and discrete graphics, you're going to save some battery life with that combination. And when it was idle, it did 10 hours and 3 minutes. When it was web surfing and my web surfing test, you're looking at a little bit over 5.5 hours. And under maximum load, when you're really doing gaming, maximum brightness in terms of the screen, you're looking at just under 2 hours when it comes to the battery life. So just keep that in mind. Now, the included 280 watt power charger does support fast charging. You're going to get about 50% in 30 minutes. And then, of course, it goes up from there in terms of depending on what you're doing, but it does support fast charging. Now, when it comes to the audio, this sports bottom firing speakers, and I gotta say, it gets pretty loud, filling up a room pretty nicely. It could use a little bit more bass, but it does have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. So if you want to use a good pair of wired headphones, that solves the problem, especially when you're gaming, you want to have the most enhanced audio experience. I wouldn't rely too much on those speakers, but in a pinch, actually sounded pretty decent.
Okay, people, let's bring it all home. What do I think about the HP Omen 16 here in the beginning of 2023? And I gotta say, this is a great gaming laptop for those core gamers out there. I like the sharp 16.1-inch QHD IPS display with that 165 hertz refresh rate, the 3 millisecond response time. I like the per key RGB backlighting option for those that want it. Upgradable RAM, SSD, Wi-Fi, definitely something we want to see on a gaming laptop. It's there. Comfortable keyboard, really good touchpad. 2 SSD slots, 2 SODIMM slots that are user upgradable by the user, and 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports that are full function, including supporting charging. That's been pretty good. The loud fans under heavy load can get a little bit annoying, especially when you're gaming, and the 720p webcam leaves much to be desired here in 2023. But again, it's a gaming laptop, so I'm not going to ding them too much for that. But overall, if you're a core gamer, if that's what you're going to be mainly doing on the Omen 16, this is an excellent choice, and I highly recommend it.
So what do you think about this bad boy, the Omen 16? This is an all-metal design. This is that black color, and you will notice the fingerprints on this, so just keep that in mind. There is a lighter color that they also offer, but as far as performance, with that Core i9-12900H, with that RTX 3070 Ti GPU from NVIDIA, nice powerful combination between CPU, GPU. We got switchable graphics here between the integrated and the discrete graphics. That helps a little bit on that battery life, as I mentioned. And as far as the numbers go, this really did well. Decent battery life for a gaming laptop, but of course, it's not going to last all day. Doesn't matter what you're doing with it. Improved thermals when it comes to the blades on the fans, but you will notice that fan noise under heavy load when you're gaming. Something to keep in mind. But under normal tasks, wasn't bad at all in terms of the fan noise, and it never got overly hot in terms of the surface temperatures, as I showed you. Now, fully upgradable in terms of the RAM, the SSD, the Wi-Fi card. It is all upgradable. We love that on a gaming laptop. And it's got that really nice 16.1-inch QHD IPS display, 2560 by 1440. Yes, it is a 16:9 aspect ratio. You can go per key RGB keyboard if you want to for an additional $80, but you can go with the standard RGB as well. So if you like that, you have that option. And of course, you have some really great control with the HP Gaming Hub app that they do give you, so you can control the thermal profiles, the switchable graphics, the keyboard backlighting, and the like. So really a lot of control at the user's fingertips. Now, as far as pricing is concerned, I've seen it all over the place depending on which SKU you go with, whether you're going to HP.com, whether you go to Best Buy. I'll put links for both in the description below. And of course, that will always give you the latest pricing. But I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in that comment section below. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, my website, amdtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMD Tech. See ya.